Hey guys, what's up? It's Savannah. Welcome back to another episode of My Thoughts Exactly. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I am so happy that you are here. Happy Friday, you guys. I hope that you all have been having a great week. And if you haven't, guess what? You did it. It's Friday. The weekend is here. Happy Friday, you guys. I am personally very happy this week for a couple reasons. If you didn't know, I don't think I told you guys this. For the past 10 days, I've been dog sitting, so I haven't been home. And luckily it's only 45 minutes away where I was staying. And so I was coming back and forth a little bit, but now I'm done dog sitting and I just get to be home and sleep in my own bed. And I am so freaking excited. There's just nothing like being in your own space. It truly is such a fun feeling to come home to. I also am very excited because you guys, the weather, giving you the weekly weather report yet again, the weather is really doing its thing this week. We have sun, and that's crazy because we have not had sun like this. Well, I don't even want to say like this. For the past 10 days that I was dog sitting, it was raining and cloudy every single day. And it was just depressing. It was giving seasonal depression. This is giving summer. It's still a little cold. It's kind of in the 50s, but this week it's supposed to get up to 75, which I'm really excited about. And then next week it's just a little tease because next week it goes right back down to 50 again. And that's just what we're going to be dealing with for a while until we get to about June or May. And then it's just going to get really freaking hot outside. So that's just kind of how the weather games go. But anyways, that is not what we're here to talk about today. But okay. This has nothing to do with the episode, but I've been I can't not talk about this. So if you guys have been on social media at all, and maybe this is just my side of TikTok, maybe this is my side of Twitter or X or whatever it is, has anyone else been in on this Kate Middleton drama? Because there's the rational part of me, the logical part of me that's well, first of all, if you don't know, everyone thinks that Kate Middleton is missing or something went wrong or, something is happening within the royal family and no one really knows what to think about it or what to do because no one has seen Kate, but then she posted this picture with her and her kids and it's very obviously photoshopped, and then she came out and said oh yeah, sorry, I'm an amateur Photoshop artist or whatever, and sometimes I make mistakes, and it's do we really believe that Kate Middleton is sitting there on Facetune facetuning her kids, and then then Kensington Palace allows her to post it? I don't think that. But anyways, I don't know if anyone else has been keeping up with this, but this is keeping me up at night because I said, the logical part of my brain is Savannah, she more than likely, there's so many things. I know she reportedly had the stomach surgery. She's healing. They said that she's coming back after Easter to resume her responsibilities or whatever. And so obviously Easter has not happened yet. We still have time. And maybe after that, that's when we can kind of start to really worry, but just give her the time to rest and relax. Then I get onto the conspiracy theory side of TikTok and I start dissecting. It's the true crime junkie in me. This is just what I like to do. So I'm starting to dissect every little theory that everyone is saying about all the things that could have happened. There's all of these rumors that are running rampant. And for someone who's just kind of a sponge with this type of stuff, my mind is kind of going crazy at the moment trying to talk about this. And I tried to talk about it with Hayden. Hayden does not care. Hayden does not care where Kate Middleton is, or at least does not care as much as I do. And I don't know. It's just, I needed to get that off my chest because it's just been something that's been kind of on the forefront of my mind lately. And I wanted to know if any of you guys felt the same way. Because again, like I said, the logical part of my brain is Savannah, just give it till after Easter. It's fine. She's fine. But there's so many weird little things that it's this is just weird. It's just weird. Anyways, that's my rant for right now. We can revisit this after Easter and we can come to a different conclusion or come to the same conclusion. Either way, just wanted to throw that out there. I know we don't usually get into pop culture stuff, but just needed to talk about that for the moment and for the time being. But anyways, you guys, that is not why we are here today. Today we are here to do something that we've actually never done on My Thoughts Exactly before, and I'm really excited about it. Today we are doing kind of just a Q&A. that's it. We're just doing a Q&A where I'm going to be answering some of the questions that you guys had for me. Typically, we do What Would Sav Do's, and I answer questions or give you guys advice about things that are like going on in your life, whatever you're going through at the time. That's not what we're doing today. Today is simply just like giving you guys the life update, letting you guys in on like whatever it is that you want to know. And I just know personally for me, I really like watching and listening to these types of episodes and content that I see from the creators that I like to watch and the people that I like to listen to, because like I want to be able to like connect and just kind of like know them better. And I feel like we've spent a lot of time just like, talking about a lot of different topics. And in those topics, like I give you guys like a little story time here or there, or I'll let you guys in on, something that's going on in my life. Or in the beginning of the episodes, I'll kind of be like, oh, this is what I did this week, da 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 da. But I kind of wanted to just like dedicate an entire episode to sitting down and letting you guys in a little bit, because we haven't done that in a while or ever here. So that is what we're going to be doing today. I do want to mention, if you do not follow the podcast already, make sure you do so on Instagram. It is just My Thoughts Exactly podcast. Also, make sure you're subscribed wherever you're listening to this podcast right now. So I had asked you guys on Instagram for some questions and you guys came through with them. So we are just going to jump right on into it. We got a lot of different kinds of questions here. So let's just go in. Okay, the first one is, how has your life changed since moving to Nashville? My life has changed in every single way possible since moving to Nashville. And I think that it has changed so much for the better. I moved to Nashville, if you don't know, in 2021, and I moved here from San Diego. I lived in San Diego for about 10 years at the time. And living in San Diego, I will forever hold the biggest place in my heart for San Diego, because it truly saw me at such a vulnerable stage in my life and in such a growing stage of my life. I think I did my most transformative years in San Diego, and moving to Nashville was an easy transition. And I've talked about this before a little bit, but if you don't know, I have two sisters who live out here. I also have an aunt, a cousin, like my aunt and uncle, and then my cousin who also live out here. So I do have family out here. I have my nieces and nephews who live out here. I have 3 nephews and 2 nieces, and I wanted something different from San Diego after 10 years. I didn't really go to college and have the college experience. I went to Belmont, which is in Nashville, for a year, which is kind of what really introduced me more to Nashville. But that was why I wanted to come here. And I also wanted to come here because, like I said, being around my family, watching my nieces and nephews grow up, like that was all really, really important to me. And that is why I decided to make the change and chose Nashville specifically. And my life has done a complete 180 since moving to Nashville. When I moved to Nashville, I was single, did not have any friends when I moved here, and I didn't have a dog. I had one podcast. That was kind of my life. And now I live with a boyfriend. We have an amazing dog. I have amazing friends. Like truly, I am so lucky to have such great friends. I have 2 podcasts, and I feel like I've really, am still coming into this version of myself, but I feel like I'm really finding myself along the way and in this process. And I still think I have some growing and shaping to do when it comes to that. But I'm also just like so much more secure in who I am. And I don't know if that comes with age or if that comes with the moving part of it all. But I do feel, I'm so much more independent now than I was living in San Diego, because I lived at home when I lived in San Diego. When I moved to Nashville, I moved into an apartment by myself, like was doing the whole thing by myself. All of it was me. And that was, that gave me such a different form of independence that I had never had before. It gave me a different set of responsibility that I had never had before. And it gave me a new sense of freedom that I had never had before. And I have really just, I think, transformed into, and elevated into such a different version of myself. I'm so proud of the person that I've become. Like, honestly, not to like give myself a pat on the back, but like, I really am proud of the person that I became when I moved to Nashville. And it couldn't have gone any better in my opinion. Like, I'm so lucky to be in the position that I'm in, and like to have the people that are in my corner and like have my tribe in my village. And like, it is truly been so amazing. And I do not regret it or take it back for a second. So yeah, in every single way. But you said, what's the, how has your life changed since moving to Nashville? Yeah, in every way. Moving on. Where did you get your dog? What stood out about him from the others? By the way, love you. By the way, love you too. So the story with Church is, if you don't know, I have a Bernese Mountain Dog. He is going to be 2 in June, which is absolutely crazy. But he is a Bernese Mountain Dog, and we got him, I don't know, in August of 2022. And he is just the best thing on the face of the planet. He is my heart and my soul and like my everything. Like, he is just the most amazing thing ever. And in trying to decide what type of dog to get and what type of dog breed, I never grew up having a Bernese Mountain Dog. I've always grown up with Golden Retrievers, but I always have gravitated towards bigger and larger dogs. I love big dogs. Love them, love them, love them. And I knew when Hayden and I moved into this house that this was something that I wanted. I kind of just like wanted us to have a dog. Granted, it was like a lot at one time. Like, it really was. Like, I don't take it back for a second, but like, it was a lot at once. Like, Hayden and I moved into this house and got a dog, I think like a week later. And then, yeah, it was just a lot. But Church, I got from a breeder in Nashville. Well, not Nashville, but in Tennessee, in a town called Bell Buckle. And I was so lucky to be able to find this amazing woman, because I told Hayden, I was like, I want to get a Bernese Mountain Dog, really because I was attracted to the fact that they are a larger breed. And also they're just known to be so affectionate. They're not, they're big in size, but they're such like teddy bears, and they're sweethearts, and they're so lovable, and they're great around kids, and all of that was really important to me. So that is why I went with a Bernese Mountain Dog. And Hayden was the one who kind of like introduced the idea of a Bernese Mountain Dog to me, and then I did my own research, and I really was like, yeah, no, I think that this is it. And I told Hayden, I was like, I don't care if we have to go to Montana. I don't care if we're going to Wyoming. I don't care where we are going to go get this dog, because I don't like to fly dogs. It's just not my thing. I lost a dog on a plane when I was 14. Well, I didn't personally lose him because he was like our family dog, but he died on an airplane from New York to, well, because he was just, anyways, it was a long story, but I just don't feel comfortable flying dogs ever since then. I'm just like kind of traumatized. And so I was like, I don't care where we're going, but we are going to go, like, I don't care. Like, I don't care where we have to go to find a breeder or whatever. Like, this is what we're doing. And he was like, okay, yeah, like I'm in, whatever. And just after extensive research, I ended up finding a breeder that was only 45 minutes away from us. She lives on this amazing farm with all of these Bernese Mountain Dogs, and they just run around all day, and it's so amazing. And she also has like a bunch of farm animals, like cows and goats and sheep that she takes care of. And it was a really great just like experience to learn about, as well as my first time like working one-on-one with a breeder. And yeah, that is kind of the story of how Church came to be and why we got him. I remember so we got first pick in the litter. We got first pick in the litter. And I remember I went there to pick out Church myself, because Church is technically, like, Church is our dog, but like Church is my dog, but like Church is our dog. But like I went there to pick Church out. And I remember when I got there and I was like, playing with all the puppies and whatever, so freaking cute. And I asked the breeder which one is going to be the biggest. And she said the orange collar. And so I was like, all right, then that's the one I'm going to get. I'm going to get the orange collar one. I specifically wanted the biggest one. That was very, that was very intentional of me. That was done on purpose. I wanted the bigger dog. I wanted the dog with like the bigger, rounder head, the square face was really important to me. So that's why I went with the orange collar. And there was a moment when she was like uploading the breeder, when she was like updating pictures on the website. I was like, oh no, this was after I picked Church orange collar. I was like, oh no, this is not it. I was like, something doesn't look right. I'm like, I don't know, because she had gotten like the world's worst picture of him and posted it. And then like all the other ones looked really cute. And I told Hayden, I like had a freak out. I was like, I don't know. Like maybe I chose wrong. Like this might not be the one. Like, I don't know. And Hayden was like, trust your gut. Like you chose the orange collar for a reason, like stick with it. And so I was like, okay, whatever. And I'm so happy I did. Hayden will remind me of that every once in a while. He'll be like, we almost didn't get him. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I know. But now he's here and he is just the light of my life. And I am so obsessed with him. I love him so much. And yeah, that's kind of the story of church. All right, moving on. Are you a big wedding person? I just got married. We did a courthouse. Well, first of all, congratulations. Okay, here's the thing. I have two sisters who I've seen get married, and I have seen them have very big birthday bashes. Not birthday. Oh my God, wedding. Very big weddings. And I am just not that person. And I think it's such a personal decision. I totally respect anyone's decision when it comes to weddings. I love weddings. I think going to weddings are amazing. I'm going to one of my friends' weddings next month. I cannot wait. Like, I freaking love weddings, but I know for me personally, in order for me to enjoy my day like that, it's not going to be a big wedding for me. It's really not. I've already started to think about it. You know, Hayden and I have talked about it. I've talked about it with my mom, my sisters. You know, I don't really want a big wedding. I think if I were to do something, it would be like a little destination, very intimate family style thing. And then maybe coming back and doing like a bigger celebration with our friends and whoever wanted to come. But in terms of like a wedding, like I'm not really interested in having like some big crazy blowout bash. Like it's just never been me. I got into social media because I have social anxiety and I don't like being in groups of people or having to talk to like a bunch of people like in person. So I think that it kind of like speaks for itself. I'm just not a big wedding type of girl. And yeah, I don't see that in the cards for me. I told Hayden before, like I would have no problem with eloping. I don't think that that's going to be the route that we take. I do think we're going to do more of like a smaller, intimate, like destination style type of vibe. That's kind of what I'm seeing for us. But I mean, I am a wedding person. Like I love weddings. I can't wait to have that. It's just going to look a little different than the weddings that I have gone to. Again, not because I didn't love those and like those were like the best ever, but like just taking the advice that I've heard from like my sisters and taking the bits of like mental notes that I've taken going to other people's weddings like that were bigger. It's just not my style and not my vibe, and that's okay. Some people want to have like the biggest, most like insane party weddings ever. Both my sisters, by the way, I don't know if I've said this before, my sisters both got married on holidays. One of my sisters, my oldest sister, got married on Halloween, and then my other sister got married on New Year's Eve. So especially the New Year's Eve one, like that was a freaking like party. Like that was a party. And that was like, it was really fun. It was really fun. But I definitely think that I would want something a little smaller, and just like have the people closest to me there. Like that's really all I could ask for and all I would ever want. So yeah, that's like my current stance on the whole wedding thing. All right, next one. How has it been since being off of birth control, weight, mind, etc.? I'm on the same journey. Okay, well, if you don't know, I posted an episode about this. We dedicated a whole episode to like my time being off of birth control. I got off of birth control in August. It's now March, and I'm going to be honest with you. I was really prepared for the worst. I was prepared, and it's very important to disclaim that everyone's body is different, everyone's mind is different, everyone's going to go through different experiences. And I think that that's why it is important to talk about this. I was very much prepared for the worst when I got off of birth control because I did a lot of research. And the research that I did, everyone was pretty much saying like, oh, it's going to be a roller coaster. Like it is going to be crazy. It is going to be like, getting off of hormonal birth control, because I was taking a hormonal birth control pill. It's going to be a whirlwind. So like buckle up, like get ready, but then it's going to be great. That's what everyone was saying. Like it's the best decision, but like buckle up. Personally for me, this is again, just my experience. I did not have a hard time coming off of birth control. I will say the thing that I have noticed when it comes to the biggest change is there's like 1 or 2 months, one or 2 days out of the month, really just one day, and it only lasts for a couple hours, where I actually want to run into a wall. Like I want to like ram my head into a brick wall. Like everything bothers me. I am so irritable. I am just not someone that you want to be around because everything is bothering me. Like I'm not in a good mood, not in a good mood. That's really the only side effect or symptom that I've noticed. And it has diminished over time since it has been like August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, 8 months since being off of it. Definitely has, that's really the only thing that I've noticed. In terms of weight, I haven't seen my weight fluctuate too much since being off of it. It might, I don't know. Now that I'm starting to think about it, I think I talked to you guys about this in two episodes ago and talking about like my health kick and how it was a little bit harder for me to, or actually, I don't even know if I updated you guys on this. So 3 episodes ago, we talked about, health kicks and getting back into wellness and the gym and all of the things. And I was telling you guys about intermittent fasting and all of the tips and tricks that I had to kind of get my body where I like it to be. And I know personally for me, intermittent fasting has been something that has worked a lot for me in the past. And I started doing it recently and I noticed it wasn't as easy for me to lose weight as it was or as it has been last year and the year before that. Now, I don't know if that has anything to do with birth control, but now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, I'm like, wait, could be, because the past 2 times that I was doing that, I was on birth control. Now, again, who knows? But that is just kind of one thing that I've noticed is a little bit harder for me to lose weight this time. But again, that could be age. I don't know. So there's that factor of it all. But I really have not had a problem getting off of birth control. Again, everyone's body is so different. For me, how I like do birth control right now is I do natural birth control, which is essentially just Natural Cycles, the app. And then I use Oura Ring and it is great. I love the Oura Ring. I need to be better at wearing it because I need to charge it and just remember to like charge it, because sometimes I'll forget to charge it and then I'll just like go a couple days without wearing it. It's bad. We can't do that. We need to like we need to get back on that. Anyways, that has kind of been my experience when it comes to getting off of birth control. But again, I know other people are different. I think that I've been pretty lucky just based off of all of the other research that I was doing and the things that I was seeing. But yeah, that's kind of been my experience. I can I'm kind of just like going with these off of the top of my head. So I can actually like do a dedicated, like updated episode that's just dedicated to like everything that I've been dealing with when it comes to this over the past 8 months. That's more like thought out and more, like elaborated in terms of like my symptoms and the things that I've noticed and whatever. But as far as just like an overall blanket statement, it hasn't been horrible. So I hope it's I hope it's the same for you. What are your current favorite makeup products? Okay. Where's my lip gloss? I just had it over here. Oh, there it is. Okay. My favorite lip gloss right now is the Fenty Gloss Bomb in Sweet Mouth. That has been my favorite lip. And I put that over the Charlotte Tilbury Icon Baby lip liner. That has been my go-to lip recently, and I have been absolutely obsessed with it. Icon Baby is very similar to Pillow Talk, but Icon Baby just like fits my complexion better. And then for just other favorite makeup products, I will refer you to a vlog that is going to be out probably in a couple days after you see this episode, and I'm going to run you through like my new and updated makeup routine, and in there I talk about my current makeup favorites. But the Gloss Bomb is like definitely where it's at for me these days. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. I love Fenty lip glosses. I think she knocks it out of the park every time. Go Rihanna. So there's been a lot of questions about kids in this, which is a crazy thing because I feel like you guys, well, first of all, let me just ask the questions first. We have, when do you plan on having kids? How many do you want? Do you think you'll ever want kids in the future? How many kids are you looking at wanting? Things of that nature. So I definitely do want kids. That is something that I do want. As far as how many, I don't know. For a long time, I thought 3 was my magic number just because I went to a psychic when I was like 9 at a birthday party and she told me that I was going to have 3 kids, and I've been like kind of stuck on that number ever since. I don't know if that's actually going to be the reality of it, because right now I'm kind of like, maybe I want 2. That would be ideal because I know how 2 works. Like, I have me and my brother, but then I also have my older sisters, but my older sisters are my half sisters, and they were significantly older than me and my brother. I mean, they are significantly older. They're 10 and 8 years older than my brother and I just grew up in the house with my brother. So I've had the experience of having both one sibling and then 3 siblings. Like, when we all get together, it's so fun, which is why I like the idea of having a bigger family and having that, like having more kids. But I don't know. We're going to just like wait and see. I know my sister, I told you guys that I have 3 nephews and 2 nieces. My sister just had her 3rd baby, and so I'm excited to kind of see what the dynamic with 3 is like, and maybe from there I'll be able to kind of see if 3 is something that I would want. I know Hayden, he has 2 sisters, so he grew up in a 3 sibling household, or like a 3 kid household, and he would like to have 3. But again, we're just going to wait and see. We're going to see how it goes, because if I plan it, it's not going to go the way that I plan. It never does. And so I'm just kind of like letting it go, like letting the universe kind of like decide. But we're at very most 3, at least 2. So at least 2, at most 3, in my mind, in my opinion, where I am sitting at right now. So that's how I feel about kids. And then when, I don't really know. I would say probably within the next 2 years. Don't quote me on that. And that is insane when I say it out loud, but yeah, in the next 2 years, probably. Okay, moving on. What is one thing that you like about yourself and one thing that you wish you could change? Well, I would say one thing that I really am proud of myself for is my ability to make people feel very comfortable. And that is something that I've been told by many, many people, that I make them feel comfortable. And I think alongside that is making people feel heard and making people feel like I'm listening to them, because I am, and I do. And I think that it's just it's a quality that I'm really happy that I have, and happy that I get to share with other people. And I like making people feel special. I like making people feel like when they're telling me something, I'm actually listening to it. So that way, 8 months down the line, or 8 weeks down the line, or 8 days down the line, when we like have a conversation, I can circle back to the conversation that they brought up at the first time, and I'll remember the little details about it. And then they're always shocked. They're like, oh my God, good listener. Oh my God, I can't believe you remember that. Or, oh my God, you actually remember? I'm like, yeah, I was listening. Like, I was listening to what you were saying. This goes with friendships, relationships, family, all of it. And that is something that I'm just very proud of myself for, because I think it's a quality that I just like having. Like, I like making people feel special. I like making people feel like when they're talking to me, like I'm listening to them, because I am, and then I'm hearing them, and then I'm going to remember what they're saying. And so that is a quality and something about myself that I really do like. Something I wish I could change is probably my moodiness. I'm very moody, and I don't love that about myself. My hangriness, oh my God. When I get hangry, duck for cover. Like, it's not a pretty picture. I'm not the nicest person to be around. My patience is thin. Everything bothers me. When I'm hangry, it's just not looking too good for anyone. You just don't really want to be around me. So I'm really lucky that I have a boyfriend who loves to cook and loves to feed me, because he knows, and I both know, that if I'm hangry, that neither of us are going to have a good time. So that's that. But those would probably be my 2 qualities. And then if you're looking for like physical, because I know those were 2 just more so like emotionally based. And my physical quality that I like about myself is Probably my eyes. I do like my eyes. And I feel like even though brown eyes get a bad rap sometimes, I do like mine. I like having brown eyes, and I like how in the sun they get a little bit lighter and they're more like hazelish. And I know people with brown eyes say that all the time, but I like brown eyes in the sun, like during a sunset or whatever. I like my brown eyes. And then I would probably say something that I'm not the craziest about when it comes to myself physically is probably my arms. I've always been like, I don't know what it is. Like my arms have always been such an insecurity. That's why I'm always in sweatshirts all the time. Not really, but that's probably part of it subconsciously. Anyways, there you go. Now you have all my insecurities. Moving on. Would you ever consider starting a different career / going back to school? Starting a different career? No. Have I thought about getting other qualifications to have additionally alongside the careers that I have and what I'm doing now? Yes, I've thought about many things. I've thought about, going to school for a PI license, private investigator's license. I've thought about, that's kind of been like the main one, that if I were going to go back to school, it'd probably be something for that. But again, I'm not sure as far as like, would I take a different career? I've always said if I wasn't doing this, I'd do some sort of something in law enforcement, just because of my love for, everything that we do on Killer Instinct. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll wait and see, but I definitely see myself doing this for as long as I can, whether that's just the podcasts or whether that is, vlogging or whatever the content looks like in the future. That is something that I definitely want to continue doing for as long as I can. Now, moving on. What is your favorite food? That's a good one. My favorite food, I guess it just depends. My favorite comfort food, like my biggest form of like self-care when I think about just having a relaxing night, what that looks like for me is taking an everything shower, coming downstairs, pouring a glass of wine, and making spicy vodka pasta with ground turkey in it and watching a show. So maybe that's my favorite food, but I will say Hayden makes an incredible steak. Like he makes incredible steak and incredible salmon. And so we have salmon a lot. We don't have steak a lot, but we have salmon a lot in this house. And I also love mac and cheese. Mac and cheese, like Annie's mac and cheese till the day I die. Like that's been just like a tried and true. Moving on. What is your favorite thing about the South since living here? How nice everyone is. This is the easiest question. How nice everyone is. Everyone here is so freaking nice. Everyone that works, like everyone here is so nice. And I'm comparing that to like a Los Angeles or a San Diego or a New York, where like everyone is so just like focused on their own shit and like so tunnel visioned on like what's going to get them to the next place. And like, it's like go, go, go constantly. And with like the South, you just kind of slow down a little bit and everyone is so nice. Like you go to these little towns, these little cute country towns, and everyone is so freaking nice. So nice. And everyone's just kind of like going at their own pace, doing their own thing. There's a stillness and a peacefulness about the South that I love. And when I drive through, like, for example, when I go pick church up today from where he's at, he's getting groomed and he goes to like this daycare thing once a week. Where I go to pick him up, I literally feel like I'm in the Hannah Montana movie. Those are the vibes. And I love it. I love it so much. It's so amazing. It's such a great place. Personally, I love it. I love so much about it. Next question. What's your favorite way to exercise / get moving? So I've talked to you guys about this before. I have a personal trainer that I go to twice a week and she kicks my ass every single time. And then as far as like for myself, what I love to do sometimes, regardless of anything, exercise, I love to sauna. I know that's not technically, you're not moving, whatever. You're still sweating. It's still a wellness thing. It's good for you. I love to sauna. I love to go on walks. That's great. But I also love walking on the treadmill and running and doing incline, like incline sprints on the treadmill. I don't love it in the moment. I hate it so much in the moment, but I feel so great afterwards, and I see pretty like immediate results when it comes to that. So love the incline sprints, but really just anything that I can do, like going on a walk with church, going on a walk like with me, Hayden in church, like our little family walks at the end of the day. Those always make me really, really happy. But again, a lot of it is really a mental thing. If I am in the mood to work out, I'm going to have a killer workout. But if I'm like not really in the mood to work out and I have to like force myself to do it, I'm like, it's going to be like an 80% workout for me. But I will say just getting there and like getting into the gym or going on the walk is like half the battle. But yeah, I would say the treadmill, incline sprints, the sauna, or just like going on walks with church and stuff. Those are my favorite ways to just kind of like get my body moving. Alrighty. Moving on. How did you come up with Killer Instinct? People ask this question quite frequently, especially when it comes to Killer Instinct. And so if you don't know what my social media journey has kind of looked like, in 2017, I started out doing YouTube, and I started really just doing like lifestyle stuff. It was a lot of story times, lots of drive with me's, lots of song suggestions, lots of, makeup stuff, just anything under the sun in that category. And then about 6 months in, I started adding in true crime. I was doing true crime videos, basically just no podcast, just sitting there telling the story and like going through the case just as I would on Killer Instinct, just without the mic, without the backdrop and all the stuff. And at that time, I had really no idea how that was going to go, because it was like such a drastic shift from doing like such like cutesy girly, like, you know, makeup, hair, like whatever. I didn't know if people were going to take me seriously when I added in the true crime stuff, because at the time it like, I think the only person that was really doing like makeup and true crime, or like the big one at the time and still is to this day, Bailey Sarian, like she was really the big like makeup true crime girly. And other than that, like Kendall Ray was doing it, and obviously still is and is great. But I just didn't know. Like I didn't know if people were gonna like it, and then people did, and it brought in a whole new demographic. And at the time, I was working with a network who still is a part of my team now, and they are so great and so amazing. And while working with them, we collectively together came up with the idea of a podcast. And at the time, podcasting was really, really new. Obviously now it is a very saturated market, and there's a lot out there, but at the time they were it was like more up and coming. Like not everyone had a podcast. And we started talking about the idea of a podcast. It was going to be a true crime podcast. And then we came up with the name Killer Instinct. And then that was kind of it. And lo and behold, now we have Killer Instinct. That was in 2019. It was in February of 2019. So we've been doing Killer Instinct for about 5 years now. And it is truly like my pride and joy, my baby. I love Killer Instinct so much. And that's kind of how it all started. Alrighty, moving on. Let's keep it going. Current favorite wine. So let's start with rosé. With rosé, my favorite is either Whispering Angel or Angels and Cowboys. Those are the two. Next one for white wine, Santa Margarita. Always a fave. Ashes and Diamonds. This is a new favorite. It's a little bit on the pricier side, but it is so good. So good. Let's see. Do I have another? Oh, yes. Number 3. I think it's called Rain. Rain. And it has like, the bottle is, obviously it's white wine. It has a white label. It looks like handwritten Rain. And then I believe it's like a balloon or something on the label. I don't know. But trust me, it's fire. Those are my white wine options. Red wine. Flowers. Also a little pricier, but still really good. Brown. Brown is really good. Browne. Brown is amazing. Probably put brown before flowers. Those are my rankings at the current moment. Next one. What is the best lesson that you have learned in your 20s? There are so many. The best lesson that I have learned is really to just, this is so freaking, it's so cliche, but really to soak in every moment, live life to the fullest. You know, I've really, really focused on that ever since moving to Nashville and being around my family, watching my nieces and nephews grow up, like seeing my parents, you know, not living with them anymore, and like seeing them, you know, kind of seeing them when I see them type of deal. And, you know, Jackson, my brother living in New York, like every time we get together, like soaking up that time, living in the moment, being so present. That is something that I've really taught myself. Also, just no one cares as much as you think that they do. Like, I think that we all just live in this generation where we're so worried about what everyone else thinks of us. And it's like, no one cares as much as you think they do, whether that's in the gym, whether that's at the bar, whether it's at the grocery store, it does not matter. No one else really cares as much as you think that they do. And when you remind yourself of that, it makes going through life a whole lot easier. And let's see, what else have I learned? I don't like vodka. That's a big one. I'm not nice on it. Another lesson that I've learned in my 20s, probably that life just goes by really fast. And that is a really sad and scary realization when you're like realizing, like having all this talk about, you know, marriage and kids and all of the things. Like I've been dealing with this, I don't really know what you would call it, but dealing with this just kind of thought lately of like, we're getting older, like we're like, and it's a no duh, but when you think about having these conversations of marriage and kids and all of the things, it's like, I've been spending so long, like so much of like, I was trying to, you know, avoid having children for the longest time, like taking all the precautions to avoid it. And you know, dating a bunch of people, obviously just to try and find your person. And you never realize that the last time you go on a date before you meet your person is going to be the last time you go on a date with anyone else. And, you know, I just have been having these realizations of like, oh my God, like we're growing up. Like you guys are talking to me about kids. Like when we first started this whole thing together, like when was that, like 7 years ago? That wouldn't have been a conversation because that would like, I wasn't ready for it. None of us were really, you know, you guys have watched me grow up in a way, and I have just been really grasping with that lately that, you know, we're all growing up, we're all getting older, and life goes by so fast. Like, where did the freaking time go? And I still feel like I'm 22. I do. And I feel like all of us kind of stunt at a certain age. And we've talked about this before, but I feel like a lot of us kind of stunt at a certain age. I was talking to my sister about this the other day. She goes, I feel like I'm still, you know, 26. And I was like, yeah, I feel like I'm 22. And like, I was talking to my dad. My dad's like, oh yeah, like you'll always feel like that. He's like, I feel like I'm 25 still. And like, it's just crazy to me that like our minds, like we get older. It's just weird. Like the concept of time is so freaking weird. And I'm going on a tangent now. I'm going to stop. But that's another lesson that I've learned. It's just that time flies. And that's why it's so important to cherish everything and be present and take everything day by day and soak in all of the memories and all the times. Take pictures, like do all of it. Okay. Moving on. What would you say, and this is going to be the last question, what would you say your biggest piece of advice is at your age now? I would say if I could tell my younger self something, and I guess this ties into things that I've learned in my 20s, if I could tell my younger self something, it would be to stop prioritizing everyone else's happiness over my own. It would be to stop having a hero complex, stop trying to save everyone, stop putting everyone else on a pedestal and putting yourself so far below them, and stop trying to appease everyone. Stop trying to be a people pleaser. Like stand up for yourself. Like have that confidence to stand up for yourself. Start fighting for yourself. It's always going to ring true. If you know, you know. But again, just you don't have to make everyone happy. You're never going to make everyone happy, and stop choosing someone else's happiness over your own. And that's specifically with dating. Like I've talked to you guys about this before, but I feel like I've dated so many people. I don't feel like I have. I know I have, where I just put their happiness in front of my own because I was trying to appease them, or just kind of like float along in the relationship or the situationship or whatever it is. And I could have saved myself so much time and anxiety if I just didn't do that. If I just kept it moving. Like if I just stood up for myself in those moments and been like, you know what? This is not serving me. Like, this is not doing what it needs to do for me. I'm not getting anything out of this. I am now focusing on making you happy rather than I am making myself happy. And that's a problem. And I wish I would have been able to kind of recognize that at the time, because I look back now and I'm like, what the heck was I doing? Like, what the heck was I doing? Like, I had dinner with my dad 2 weeks ago and we were having wine and just chit-chatting, and we were kind of like going through a recap of the past couple years for everyone in my family. And then we kind of got onto me and we were just going through some of my like past relationships and dating. And we were sitting there and just talking. And I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm like, what was I thinking? Like, what was I thinking? What was I doing? Why was I allowing myself to repeat this, toxic cycle over and over again? So that's what I would give myself the advice for, is to focus on your own happiness over everyone else's. You can deal with everyone else later. Just focus on you. That's what I would say. And that, you guys, is going to be the end of this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. And with that being said, that's going to be all for me today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of My Thoughts Exactly. Again, if you're new here, hi, my name is Savannah, and we post every single Friday on My Thoughts Exactly. So make sure you subscribe. That way you don't miss it. I'll be back next week with a brand new one for you guys, and I'll see you there. Bye, guys.